What is going on, everybody out there? Lamont at large. Today we're at the Mount Calvary Cemetery here in Albuquerque, New Mexico. We're going to visit the Grigo family grave. The face on your screen right now is of a man that never again needs to know what it feels like to walk on grass like I'm doing right now. This is a picture of a man that, in my own opinion, is beyond rehabilitation. This is a psychopath. This is a person that society would not benefit from if they were to be released into the public. This is the face of a family annihilator. This is Nehemiah Grigo. And on the night of January 19th of 2013, going into the very early hours of January 20th, Nehemiah, 15 years of age at the time, made a decision at that point in time after getting into an argument with his mother, Sarah Grigo. He decided that he was going to grab a rifle from the closet of his parents' bedroom and kill his family. There's people in society that feel that this person is able to be saved, that they're able to be helped, that they can be rehabilitated. I strongly disagree. The Grigo family lived in a home about 20 miles south of the cemetery here. So living at the home at the time was 51-year-old Greg Grigo, his 40-year-old wife, Sarah, 15-year-old Nehemiah, and their three youngest children, 9-year-old Zephaniah, and the two youngest girls, 5-year-old Jael and 2-year-old Angelina. I do not know when Nehemiah decided that he didn't want any part of his family and he didn't want them alive. But on that evening, January 19th, 2013, Nehemiah got into some kind of argument with his mom, Sarah. Now, at that time, Greg, he was working at the rescue mission here in Albuquerque. Now, this family was very, very religious. I don't know if it would be fair for me to call them fundamentalist Christians, but I would say they were pretty serious in the Christian faith because, according to school records, none of the 4 children living at the home at the time were enrolled in school. Well, the 2-year-old wouldn't be in school, but the others would be. So they were all homeschooled, and they attended church pretty regularly. Now, Greg Grigo, big guy, could be intimidating. You know, he could be looked upon as like a mean-looking guy, but with a quick smile. And everybody that had any kind of interaction with him have always said, have just remarked about how nice he was as a guy. Now, Greg, former United States Army, and had a little bit of a past, was involved in gangs and drugs as a young man. And his first marriage ended in divorce. And he had served a little bit of time in jail or in prison, but he had cleaned his life up and turned his life around and gave his life to the Lord Jesus Christ. And a very, very big family. I'm not exactly sure off the top of my head how many children Greg Grigo had. I want to say it was 9. As a matter of fact, my friend who used to be a teacher here in Albuquerque taught one of the Grigo children, nobody that is involved in the story, but an older son. And she had remarked to me how nice he was. Just a very well-rounded, bright, nice kid from a very, very nice family. But there was something about Nehemiah that people looking back on, you know, when things like this happen, you kind of look for like the clues or the signs that you should have looked at to, you know, to think that maybe I could have stopped this, or maybe I should have seen this coming. Oftentimes, there is no sign of a psychopath. It just kind of happens. Now, one person described Nehemiah as quiet, obedient. Somebody else said, man, ever since I knew him, he was about 3 or 4 years old. It was just strange. And some of the neighbors would see Nehemiah sometimes walking up and down the street of where the family lived, because they lived on a dead-end street, wearing his dad's old army fatigues. So on that night, after getting into an argument with his mother, he decides he's just gonna kill everybody. So after his mother goes to sleep, it's about 1 a.m., he grabs a rifle from the closet of the parents' bedroom, and as his mother's sleeping, he takes the rifle and puts it to her head and just bam, kills her instantly. After he shoots and kills his mother, he goes into the room where Zephaniah is. And at this time now, Zephaniah is awake. He might have been startled by the gunshot. So Nehemiah tells Zephaniah, he says, "Hey, I just killed mom. She's dead." And he's not believing him at first. So he takes the little boy to the room and shows his dead mother, and he starts crying and obviously visibly upset. So Nehemiah, the good brother that he is, can't see his little brother crying like this, so he consoles him by shooting him dead right then and there. Shoots him right in the head. Now, at this time now, he goes into the bedroom of his younger sister, Jael. She's up and she's visibly upset. She's crying. He shoots her. And then finally, the baby, Angelina, 2 years of age, she's sleeping through all of this. And he shoots and kills her. So now he's just killed 4 members of his family. So now all he has to do now to complete his mission, whatever jacked up idea he has in his head, he's waiting for the final one. He's waiting for his dad. His dad is working graveyard shift at the mission. So his dad usually works 6 p.m. to 6 a.m. His job there was kind of like a pseudo security guard. He would check in residents, hand out blankets, just kind of walk the grounds, making sure nobody's trying to break in or what have you. So he gets off of work and he comes home, and little does he know that his son is lying in wait using the same rifle, the same weapon that his dad used and taught him how to use. He's lying in wait in the bathroom downstairs, and as soon as his dad comes home, he shoots him, kills him, puts him down, he's dead. He's just killed 5 members of his family. So now that you're 15 years old and you just killed your entire family that you live with, well, what do you do now? So he decides he's gonna go visit his 12-year-old girlfriend. Now, a 15-year-old kid and you got a 12-year-old girlfriend, that's pretty strange, that's pretty weird. Like I said, somebody described this guy as just pretty strange, and guys, let's not forget, he doesn't go to school. He's homeschooled. He doesn't have interactions with people his own age. So when you first hear that, you're like, this guy's a creep. But then when you think about it, he doesn't know what it's like to be a 15-year-old teenager. And he's probably only allowed to associate with people from the church. So slim pickings, slim chooses, call it whatever you want. She's 12, whatever, I don't know. That's the story. He goes to the girlfriend's house and he tells her, hey, now this gets a little murky, but he basically tells his girlfriend, my mom's dead. My family's dead. And he would later go on to show her a picture. Now, I don't know when the 12-year-old decides that it's a good idea to tell somebody that, your boyfriend just showed you a picture of his dead mother. So they go to church later on that day, and one of the guys, I guess he was kind of like the security guy of the church, when he sees Nehemiah, he thinks it's strange that, well, where's your family? Because you don't just show up to church by yourself. Obviously, Greg and Sarah are going to be along with the other children. And so he says, hey, where's Greg? Where's your dad? And Nehemiah says, he's dead. My family died. Okay, well, what happened? He's like, I think somebody broke in and killed him. I don't know. So he's looking at him. He's like, okay. He doesn't seem visibly upset. He doesn't seem like he's been crying or anything like that. He's just kind of matter of factly just says, like, you know, they're dead, like how I would tell you what I ate for breakfast today. So he's concerned. So he takes Nehemiah with another guy and they start heading up to the family's home. But before he leaves, he calls 911 and he's saying, hey, this kid's telling me that his family's dead. We're going to the house right now. You might want to meet us there. So they get to the house. I'm imagining they arrived there before the police. So they open the door and sure enough, Greg is dead there in the living room. And Sarah is with Zephaniah upstairs in the bedroom. And then the other kids are in their room and they're all dead. Each one had been shot in the head once. I want to say Jael, for I don't know what reason, was shot 3 times. So the police get there and they see this carnage, blood everywhere, just something that police don't ever want to see is multiple bodies, murders in one place. So they take Nehemiah down to the station and they ask him what happened. And he tells them, oh yeah, I just came home and they're dead. Yep, just came home and they're dead. And well, he says, okay, well, why didn't you call the police? Like when you first found them. Why'd you go to your girlfriend's house and hang out with her and then go to church later on in the evening? And he said, I don't know, I was nervous. I was gonna get around to calling the police. And as the cop is talking to this dude, again, Nehemiah has no remorse. There's nothing. Normally when you find out that your family, that something bad has happened to them, you're gonna at least bare minimum be visibly upset, right? You're gonna be visibly upset. You might even be hysterical. You might be crying. No, this guy is very, very, very reserved. So after a few hours of them grilling him and trying to get down to exactly what happened, they're asking him, hey, if you just seen them and they were murdered, why did you have 2 rifles with you when you went to your girlfriend's house? Tell us the freaking truth, dude. We're tired of messing with you. What happened? Did you do this? Did you kill your family? And finally he confesses. Yes, I killed him. Okay, well, obviously the first question that I would want to know if I'm a police officer, if I'm a detective, is why did you kill your family? And he says, well, my mom, she's just annoying. She's just annoying and I got tired of her. We got into an argument and I just decided I'm just done with it. I just killed everybody. And so he tells the detective that he didn't follow through with his original plan. See, because his original plan was to kill his family and then perhaps try to convince his girlfriend to kill her family, and then they could go off together and have this kind of happy life. Or maybe instead of convincing her to kill her family, maybe I'm just gonna go to Walmart and just commit a mass shooting and then get into a firefight with the cops and then they'll kill me. So just a very, very malicious killer with no remorse, no soul, no nothing. So he's 15 at the time of the murder. So they arrested him and charged him with the murders of his parents. And I don't understand this part. They charged him with, instead of charging him with the murders of his younger brother and 2 younger sisters, they charged him with child abuse resulting in death. Again, I don't get it. So he's not charged as an adult yet. The only thing I can kind of figure out why they charged him as a juvenile first is to see if he's able to be rehabilitated, because the law states that if he's going to be charged as a juvenile, by the time he's 21 years of age, he's going to be released. However, it's going to be up to the court's indiscretion on whether they're going to maintain that this case is going to remain in the juvenile courts, or they're going to bump it up to the adult courts. Now, of course, Nehemiah, he's at some psychiatric wing of the jail, wherever they're housing him at. And well, this guy, he wouldn't be able to remain out of trouble. Now, you got defense attorneys who are telling the courts, telling the judge that, oh, my client, he was abused. He has brain damage. He wasn't able to grow up as a normal teenager because his family kept such a tight hold of him where he wouldn't have the normal social interactions of a normal 15-year-old kid where he would have friends. He was basically kept closeted and was abused by his parents. And as a matter of fact, they're so desperate to show the courts that this dude has some kind of brain damage, which they're, I don't know, they're blaming it on beatings from his dad, supposedly, where if he would smack him upside the head or whatever. They showed the MRI in court, and well, the prosecutor, they got to bring in their own experts. And the doctor who studied the MRI of Nehemiah's brain says that, you know, he doesn't really have any more damage to his brain than somebody would have where if they were riding a roller coaster, they would suffer whiplash. Like, there's nothing there. Like, there could be something there, but in my opinion, this is nonsense. There's nothing there. And so while Nehemiah is at court, he's trying to maintain a sense of him being normal, which he's not, because he's a sick creep. So you have a couple weeks before he's going to turn 21. And you would think that if by this time now, it's already been about 6 years. It's been about 6 years that you've been locked away, and your attorneys, your court-appointed attorneys, are telling you, hey, you might not want to get into any kind of trouble while you're behind bars. Pretty much try to stay as normal as you can. But this guy, he cannot do it. He cannot do it. So he's about to turn 21 years of age. He's about to be released. Well, unless the court determines that they're going to charge him as an adult. So there's a court hearing, and well, the judge in the matter, he's like, okay, so we're going to determine whether, you know, you're going to be released in a matter of weeks. But, well, there's a couple problems with Nehemiah, other than the fact that he murdered 5 people and is showing no remorse. Again, he's showing absolutely no remorse at all whatsoever. So as he was behind bars, he develops feelings for his state-appointed psychologist. And this woman's name right here is Amber Lucero. And he really likes Amber Lucero. And, you know, Amber likes him too. So they started some kind of a romantic relationship behind bars. Now, they didn't have sex or anything like that, but there was some kissing away from the cameras and some groping. I don't know how he got caught with that. I guess maybe they accidentally did something, or maybe he said something, I don't know. So you have that. Oh, and then also the charmer that he is. Nehemiah convinces a resident of this treatment facility that he's at that he convinces him, where the court describes this other person as developmentally delayed. He convinces him to give him oral sex. Okay, all right, so we have these 2 marks. Oh, and by the way, here's the cherry on top of this creepy sundae. He tells the guards, the jail guards, the COs at this place, he says, if I don't get released, I'm gonna kill all of you. Oh, well, if you put it that way, then we're definitely going to release you. You can kind of see what kind of person we're dealing with, right? I mean, do I need to say any more about how we should keep this guy behind bars forever? So the court determines that, no, you're not going to get released. It's probably in the best interest of the public good that you stay behind bars. So they ended up sentencing him to 30 years in prison for each murder. Now, however, I don't know why, but they sentenced him to 30 years in prison for the murders of the three children. Second-degree murder. I don't know why it wasn't first. And they also sentenced him to 7 years in prison for the murders of his parents. Now, this is all going to be ran concurrent, meaning together. Sometimes sentences are ran consecutive, where you would stack these years, where you would be getting people that get 140 years or something. So currently right now, Nehemiah is behind bars here in a prison in New Mexico. So he got the 30 years with the possibility of parole. So guys, I hate to say it, but I do see this guy getting out. I don't think he's gonna make his first parole. I think this guy's just gonna continue to get write-ups in prison. He's just psycho. So any little infraction, if he's, has contraband, if he's at a place he's not supposed to be, they will be writing him up. It will all be in his prison record. So he will be 52 years of age when he first goes up for parole. And I guarantee you it's gonna be denied. There's no way in hell this guy's gonna get parole. However, if he lives long enough, hey, you turned 70, 72, 73 years old, and now you're an elderly man, and the parole board, they weren't alive at the time these murders were committed, I could see them letting him go at that time. But that's the only way I see him ever being released. He would be an elderly man. And in my personal opinion, he should never be released. He's just one of those guys, you just put him away forever and ever and ever. So this is all that's left of the Griegos is just this monument right here with the names of the murder victims. Okay guys, I am out of here. I'm hitting the road. I'll see you on the next video. Be good out there. Peace out.